Hello everybody, this is Erik Schultz. Once again, we are out of the studio for another interview, and this time we have Wake Forest baseball player Keegan Maronpot. Keegan, how are you doing today?
I'm great, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. So Keegan and I actually met this summer in the Coastal Plain League, which is a summer collegiate wooden bat league, and you played for the High Point Townsville High Toms, and I was the broadcaster for the Astro Copperheads. So to start, why don't you tell me how your summer was and what that experience was like?
I had a great summer, great coaches over at High Point, great players, it's a great league. It was good to stay fresh over the summer, get at bats, get playing time in the field. It was just great to stay loose and get ready for this year.
What was your biggest goal this summer? Was it to get more at bats, more playing time, or was it something else? Did you want to grow in something?
I think definitely to just get at bats, see live pitching. Also, work on a better approach at the plate, strike out less, maybe walk a little bit more, put the ball in play. So I definitely tried to work on that all summer.
Okay, so did having a teammate in Reese Stee make things easier being away from home this summer?
Yeah, it did. I think it always helps to have someone that you're familiar with on your summer teams. At the same time, though, you become pretty good friends with the kids on your summer teams pretty quickly. So, it was nice to have Reese, but at the same time, the rest of my teammates were great, and it was pretty easy to play.
So what led you to the Coastal Plain League? Obviously, you didn't start the season with them because of the NCAA tournament, but it was still, I'll say, a good while into the season before you joined. What led you to go to the CPL and the High Toms?
I was actually taking classes here over the summer.
Okay.
So I wanted to, still play in a summer league, not just take the summer classes. So we found a league that was close enough here to where I could commute to classes and go. And then, after the NCAA tournament, I just took like a week and a half off just completely to kind of regroup and refresh. And then that's when I headed over to High Point.
Okay. So going to Wake now, for those of you that don't know, Keegan, what is your major, and also what are your outside interests besides baseball?
So my major is economics. Outside interests, we play a ton of baseball, but other than that, just hanging out with the teammates. We like watching movies, listening to music, just hanging around, playing video games.
Yeah, no problem with that. So let's talk about now. Let's go back to last spring. Many consider that to be a really special group of guys. So, what are your thoughts on really what was going on in the locker room? What was playing on that team like this past spring?
It was exceptional. I think we had a ton of really talented guys, just really low egos, which I think really helped us succeed. Just a lot of players that had a common goal to win and make it as far as we possibly could. And I think the stats and the wins that we had really showed that. We had a ton of guys that just showed up to the field every day and worked hard, and I think that showed.
So in your eyes, then, because you talked about the record, you were able to host a regional here in Winston-Salem. How big was that for the school? And I'll say, how much of an advantage do you think you had? Because you went undefeated in the regional then.
I think it was huge. Definitely, we got a ton of fans for our regionals. We got the Wake Forest name out there. If people didn't know who we are, they know now. Definitely, I think it was an advantage throughout the season. The stats show that we played a little bit better at home. I think it was a little intimidating for opposing pitchers to see our batting practice, us hitting home runs, and just an overall comfort level that we had playing at home rather than maybe going out having a plane ride, travel time, all that. So it was definitely an advantage for us to stay at home.
So talking about people that may not know the Wake Forest name, what do you have to say to people that may not look at Wake Forest as highly as other schools just because it's a smaller size? It may not have been as successful as consistently up until now. What do you have to say to people like that?
I think that we're building a winning culture here. I know there's some, they're North Carolina, NC State, they might be a little bit bigger names in the state of North Carolina, but I don't think for much longer. I think we've proven the past couple of years that we can hang with any team in the ACC and in the SEC. Any team we can hang with. So watch out for us. We're getting better each year, and we're getting better players, and it only seems like it's going to be going up from here.
Right. So moving on then, after sweeping the regional, you went to Gainesville to play Florida in the Super Regional, and you were actually, if I'm correct, the only team in the entire tournament from the College World Series to the very beginning to beat Florida. You only won one game, obviously, but what was the experience like in Florida? There was a lot of rain and weather issues. I know I was watching. And really, what was that experience like, and what could you take away from that series?
It was, first of all, it was a great experience. I'm from Florida, so it was nice going down there to play. You mentioned the rain. That was tough. I think they said that we had more rain out hours than we did hours playing. So that was tough. It was, a lot of time sitting around waiting to get out, so it was tough to stay loose. But overall, it was a great experience. I think we learned what it takes to be one of those teams that makes it to the College World Series. They had great pitching, they had great offense, they did the little things right, very fundamentally sound. I think in the end, we thought that we were good enough to beat them. The rainouts and their pitching, they just beat us. I don't know. I think we had a shot to beat them. So if anything, it taught us, that we're definitely good enough to be up there with them.
Right. Obviously, I don't know how much you saw of the other competition, but after that series, did you have a pretty good idea that Florida could be the team to beat throughout the rest of the tournament?
Yeah, I didn't even, to be honest, I didn't watch the College World Series after we lost to Florida, but I think especially in baseball, it's one of those sports where the pitchers can really dominate the game. And they had, 2 or 3 guys that were really powerful guys that are top draft picks. So, I had a pretty good feeling that if they got through us, they were going to have a pretty good shot to win the whole thing.
Okay. So a program record, 8 players were drafted in the MLB draft. What does it say about the program that you have going, and what do you have to say about those guys that have left, and then I believe 1 or 2 decided to come back?
Again, I think it shows that we have a winning culture here. We have great coaching staff, facilities that really help develop these players. And I have nothing but the best to say about those guys. They're just terrific players and even better people. And then a couple people that decided to come back. I think they had a taste of what we could do last year in the playoffs, and I think they wanted to repeat that again this year. So. We lost 8 guys in the draft, but I think we're going to have another really great team this year.
Talking about facilities, this past season, facilities were upgraded a lot, I'll say. There was a pitching lab, I know, and so many other things. What does that do for the team? How does that help that winning culture that you talk about, and how does that help with recruitment?
I think it helps a ton for recruitment. I think we have the best facilities in the ACC and maybe in the entire country. So, when recruits come in and see that, I think it leaves a lasting impression on them. It helps us. We have a nutrition area, so it keeps us fueled. Just the locker room in itself is really impressive, and it makes things easier for us. Pitching lab helps our pitchers, and it's just a really impressive facility, and it helps us become better players.
Okay, so this year, as a senior, if I'm correct, do you see yourself as a leader, as a team captain, we'll say? Obviously, those haven't been named yet. And if so, if you see yourself as a leader, does that sort of come natural to you, or is that something you think you're going to have to work at?
Well, like you said, the coaches pick the team captains. That's obviously a pretty high honor. But, I think it's something that I'll obviously have to work on. But at the same time, even if I'm not chosen as a team captain, you can still be a captain without having a C on your jersey. So, I've gone through a lot of failure in my career here, and I think that there's a lot to learn from my mistakes. And, I think I can help definitely the team. There's only a few seniors, so I can help the younger guys and the guys coming up with any questions and just what it's like to be in the regular season, and then throughout the regular season, hopefully I can be one of those guys that those younger people look up to and look for help. So,
speaking about youth, do you see that as perhaps a weakness, something you're going to have to grow on, or do you see that as a strength? We have all these young guys, a lot of them had a taste of it last year. We're only going to get better.
I think it could be both. We got a lot of young guys that maybe don't have this certain type of experience, but then, like you said, at the same time, we've got some guys that, are only getting better from what they were last year. And we did have a taste for what the playoffs is. We have some young guys, but they're great players. So I think it could be a little bit of both, but we'll see. I think we're gonna have a great team.
So also head coach Tom Walter signed a nice extension. Obviously, he's a great coach. He's done some great things here. What do you think about him, and what led you to come because of him here to Wake Forest?
I think he's an exceptional guy and an awesome coach. The extension I think is very well deserved with the success that we've had over the past couple of years. What led me to come here, they do a great job at giving you what you need to succeed and develop as a person and as a player. Obviously, the school is exceptional, and athletics, are up there too. I think that the extension was definitely well deserved.
So last year was your first year really as a regular starter. With a full season of playing under the belt, does that add a certain amount of pressure to you? And what's your biggest goal looking at what you did last year, this year?
I wouldn't say pressure. I think if anything, it helps me become a little bit more comfortable this year. Having a full season under my belt, I know what to expect and the difficulties that come with playing every day with a full season. So I think in that aspect, it makes it a little bit easier for me this upcoming year. Goals, I have a lot of team goals. I hope we can repeat in how well we did in conference play this upcoming year. And obviously, I want to host another regional and go to Super Regional in Omaha. Personally, anything I can do to help the team win would be great, and we'll just go from there.
Yeah, team goals was my next question. So I'll change it. I'll say, do you think that this year you can win the ACC tournament?
Absolutely. I think every year that I've been here, we've had the opportunity to win the ACC tournament. Just a couple things haven't gone our way. A few plays, a few pitches, and maybe we've won each year. I think it's very realistic that we have another good shot. I think we have a great team, and definitely the pitching staff and the offense to where we can, if we get in there and we get a couple first wins, that we can definitely go all the way.
Talking about offense, last year you led Division I baseball in home runs with 106. Does this team look to be more power oriented like they were last year, or do you see yourself contributing to the offense in other ways?
I don't know if we'll be as powerful as we were last year. We had Gavin who hit 20 plus home runs. Stu was up there. John. We had a ton of guys that had a lot of power. I don't know if we'll be that high up there, but I think we'll certainly be very powerful again. Our park plays into that aspect with it and the wind. It might be a little bit easier to hit home runs here in the spring, but we got a ton of guys that can still have power. But I think we'll have a little bit higher average. We'll have a little less strikeouts this year, and maybe we'll use the running game a little bit more this year. But definitely, power's still in play for sure.
Okay. Well, Keegan, thank you very much. Obviously, the regular season is still a while to go, but they're playing every day, if I'm correct. Practice. There is no off season, so make sure to keep up with Wake Forest baseball on social media. Make sure to keep up with the Danger Zone on Facebook and Twitter. And make sure to come out to the Couch, the David Couch Ballpark, come spring, and cheer on Keegan and many other Wake Forest baseball players. This is Erik Schultz. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we hope you have a good rest of the day.